Picture this. You're sitting at your desk, maybe grabbing a coffee at your favorite spot when your phone lights up. A name you haven't seen in weeks, maybe months, flashes across the screen. Just one word. Hey. Your heart skips a beat. Your mind spirals. Is this a sign she's back? Does she miss you? Should you reply right now? Hold on. That single text isn't just a message. It's a moment that could redefine how she sees you, how you see yourself, and how you navigate your emotional world. Welcome to ZENLIGHT, where we dive deep into the art of living with clarity, strength, and purpose. In today's video, we're unpacking the hidden psychology behind that cryptic "hey" text, why it hits you harder than it should, and how to respond like a man grounded in Stoic wisdom and unshakable self-worth. This isn't just about texting back, it's about reclaiming your power, mastering your emotions, and building a life that doesn't bend to anyone's whims. Stick with us until the end, because I'm going to give you practical, real-world strategies you can use today to handle these moments with confidence and walk away stronger, no matter what happens. Let's get started. Imagine you're driving home after a long day, the sun dipping below the horizon, casting an orange glow across the dashboard. Your phone buzzes in the cup holder. You glance down, and there it is, a name you thought you'd buried in the past. Maybe it's been weeks, maybe months since you last heard from her. No warning, no context, just one word glowing on your screen. Hey. Your chest tightens like a coiled spring. Your mind races faster than the car you're driving. Is she back? Does she miss you? Is this the moment you've been secretly hoping for? The one where she realizes what she lost? Stop right there. Before you let your emotions steer you off course, take a deep breath and anchor yourself in this truth. That text isn't about you, it's about her. And how you respond, or choose not to, will shape not just this moment, but the man you're becoming. Welcome to ZENLIGHT, where we cut through the noise of modern life with the clarity of Stoic wisdom and the fire of self-improvement. Today, we're diving into the hidden layers behind that single word, why it carries so much weight, and how to handle it like a man who's mastered his emotions and knows his worth. This isn't just about a text message. It's about reclaiming your power, protecting your peace, and living a life aligned with your deepest values. Let's unpack this together. When she sends that "hey" after months of silence, your first instinct might be to see it as a lifeline, a crack in the wall she built between you. Your heart whispers that she's been thinking of you, regretting her absence, or maybe even wanting to rebuild what was lost. But Stoicism teaches us to question our initial impressions, to step back and examine the world with clear eyes. The Roman philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not things that upset us, but our judgments about them." That text isn't inherently meaningful, it's your judgment of it that gives it power. So let's strip away the illusion and look at what's really happening. In most cases, that message isn't about love, regret, or a sudden epiphany. It's a probe, a subtle test of your emotional state. She's not reaching out to reconnect. She's reaching out to measure something. Is your heart still open to her? Are you still waiting, hoping, tethered to the past? That single word is her way of dipping a toe in the water without diving in herself. She's testing the temperature of your emotions, seeking validation without offering vulnerability. Think about it. If she truly valued you, if she genuinely wanted to rebuild something meaningful, would she lead with something as casual as "hey"? Would she leave you guessing, dangling on the edge of uncertainty? A woman who's serious about you doesn't play games with ambiguity. She shows up with clarity, with honesty, with something real. That vague text, though, often signals something else entirely. Curiosity, boredom, or a need for attention. Maybe she's feeling lonely after a breakup. Maybe she saw you thriving on social media, looking sharp in a new suit or laughing with friends at a bar, and it sparked a flicker of insecurity. Maybe your silence has been louder than any words, and it's stirring something in her she can't ignore. But here's the hard truth, the one most men miss. She might not want you back. She might just want to know she could have you back if she tried. That's not love. That's ego maintenance. And the moment you reply too quickly, too eagerly, you hand her the keys to your emotional world. You signal that her absence didn't break you, but her return can still shake you. Stoicism reminds us that we control only what's within our reach: our thoughts, our actions, our responses. You can't control why she texted or what she feels, but you can control how you meet this moment. So pause. Don't let your emotions hijack your judgment. Ask yourself, why now? What's shifted in her world to prompt this? Is she seeking connection? Or is she just checking if you're still an option on her shelf? Let me share a story to bring this home. A friend of mine, let's call him Marcus, went through this exact scenario. He'd been dating a woman for a year, and things were intense. Late night talks, big plans, the works. Then, out of nowhere, she pulled back. No explanation, just silence. For 3 months, Marcus rebuilt himself. He hit the gym, started a side hustle, and surrounded himself with friends who lifted him up. He was living his life, not waiting for her. Then, one random Tuesday, his phone lit up. "Hey, how's it going?" His first instinct was to pour out everything: his hurt, his progress, his lingering feelings. But instead, he took a page from the Stoics. He waited. He reflected. He asked himself, what does this text really mean, and do I owe it my energy? He realized her message came right after he posted a photo of himself at a conference, looking confident and in control. Her hey wasn't about love. It was about her need to know she still had a hold on him. So he didn't rush to reply. He waited a day, then responded with a simple, "Hey, what's up?" That small act of restraint shifted everything. She opened up, tried to explain her absence, but Marcus stayed grounded. He didn't chase. He didn't beg. He let her come to him, and in doing so, he kept his power. That's the Stoic way. Focus on what you control, let go of what you don't. Now let's make this practical for you. Next time you get that unexpected text, don't let your heart take the wheel. Step back. Take a walk, maybe a mile or two, and let your thoughts settle. Ask yourself 3 questions. What's her intent? Is this worth my energy? And does this align with the man I'm becoming? Write those questions down if you need to. Journaling is a powerful tool. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius used it to stay grounded. Put pen to paper and map out your emotions before you act. If you're still tempted to reply right away, set a timer for 24 hours. That delay isn't about playing games. It's about giving yourself space to choose, not react. Because here's the truth, your worth isn't tied to her attention. Your peace is too valuable to trade for a fleeting moment of validation. You're not here to be someone's backup plan. You're here to build a life that's unshakable, one that reflects your values, your discipline, your purpose. That text is a test, not of her feelings, but of your strength. And when you pass it, by pausing, reflecting, and responding only, when it aligns with your standards, you don't just keep your power, you grow it. You become the man who doesn't flinch when the past comes knocking, because you're too busy building your future. So the next time that hey lights up your phone, remember, this isn't about her, it's about you. It's about the man you're choosing to be, the life you're crafting, the peace you're protecting. Stay tuned, because next, we're diving into the biggest mistakes men make when that text arrives, and how to avoid them so you never lose your edge. Let's set the scene. Your phone buzzes, and there it is. That single word, hey, staring back at you like a loaded question. Your heart races, your palms get sweaty, and before you know it, your fingers are hovering over the keyboard, ready to fire off a reply. You're thinking this is your shot, your moment to rekindle something, to show her you're still here, still invested. But hold up. That instinct, that urge to jump in head first, is where most men lose the game before it even starts. Welcome back to ZENLIGHT, where we're breaking down how to live with stoic clarity and unstoppable self-worth. Today we're diving into the biggest mistakes men make when that unexpected text lands, and how to sidestep them so you stay in control, not just of the conversation, but of your entire emotional world. This isn't about playing games, it's about protecting your peace and building a life so strong that no one can shake it. Let's get real. The moment that text hits, most guys feel a rush, a mix of hope, excitement, and maybe a little anger. You want to reply right away because it feels like a second chance, like she's finally come to her senses. But the second you hit send on that quick, eager response, you're handing over something precious, your power. You're telling her, without saying it, that you've been waiting, that her silence didn't break you, but her return can still pull your strings. Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies in mastering our reactions. As Seneca said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you reply too fast, too emotionally, you're not just responding to her. You're exposing your inner world to someone who hasn't earned it. And that's the first mistake. Reacting instead of responding. Reacting is impulsive, driven by emotion. Responding is deliberate, grounded in choice. Let me paint a picture. Imagine a guy named Alex, 28, living in Chicago. He's been working on himself, hitting the gym 5 days a week, landing a promotion, even picking up meditation to stay centered. He's finally feeling good, like he's moving past the breakup that gutted him 6 months ago. Then, out of the blue, his ex texts, "Hey, how's it going?" Alex's heart jumps. He types out a long message. "I've missed you so much. I'm doing great, but I've been thinking about you. Can we talk?" He hits send in under 2 minutes. And just like that, he's back in her orbit, waiting for her next move. She replies hours later with a vague, "Good to hear, just checking in." Alex is crushed. He thought this was a breakthrough, but it was just a test, and he failed. What did Alex do wrong? He let his emotions lead. He poured out his heart, assuming her text meant more than it did. He signaled that his world still revolves around her, that he's been sitting by his phone, hoping for this moment. And in doing so, he gave away his leverage, his mystery, his strength. Women, whether they realize it or not, are wired to pick up on these signals. A fast emotional reply doesn't say, "I care." It says, "I'm still tethered to you." It says, "I haven't moved on." And that's the second mistake, oversharing too soon. When you spill your feelings, how much you missed her, how glad you are she reached out, you're not building connection. You're handing her a map of your vulnerabilities. You're telling her she can come and go as she pleases, and you'll always be there, ready to catch her crumbs. That's not attractive. It's predictable, and predictability kills intrigue. Think about it like a poker game. If you show your cards the second the game starts, you've got no leverage left. A Stoic man plays his hand carefully. He doesn't bluff or hide. He simply chooses when and how to reveal his strength. He knows that attraction, respect, even desire, thrive on tension, on mystery, on the unspoken. When you reply instantly with a wall of text, you're laying all your cards on the table. You're saying, "Here's everything I feel, take it or leave it." And more often than not, she'll leave it because there's no challenge, no pull, no reason to invest. Let's flip this around. What does a man grounded in Stoic principles do instead? He pauses. He breathes. He reminds himself that his worth isn't tied to her attention. He asks, why is she reaching out now? What's changed? Maybe she saw you thriving. Maybe a photo of you at the gym, benching 200 pounds. Or a post about your new project, going viral. Maybe your silence has been louder than any words and it's making her question her choices. But whatever the reason, a Stoic man doesn't rush to fill the void. He creates space for clarity. He waits, not out of spite, but out of strength. Because waiting isn't weakness, it's discipline. It's the difference between a boy who chases and a man who leads. Here's how to make this real in your life. Next time that text comes, don't touch your phone for at least an hour. Better yet, set it aside for a day. Go for a run, 3 miles. Feel the pavement under your feet. Let your mind clear. Or sit down with a journal and write, what does this text mean to me, and why do I feel the urge to reply? This isn't about ignoring her. It's about giving yourself the space to choose your response, not react out of habit. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we control, our actions, our mindset, our time. You can't control her intentions, But you can control how you show up. And when you do reply, keep it short, keep it calm, keep it centered. Something like, "Hey, what's on your mind?" That's not cold, it's confident. It says, "I'm here, but I'm not chasing." If you want something, step up. That simple shift changes the entire dynamic. It puts the ball back in her court, forcing her to reveal her intent. And here's the beauty. Whether she steps up or fades away, you're unshaken. Because your peace doesn't depend on her reply. Your strength doesn't hinge on her validation. You're building a life that's bigger than one text, one moment, one person. Let me share another story. A guy named Ryan, 35, from Seattle, got a text from an ex after a year of no contact. She'd left him for someone else, and it stung. But Ryan spent that year leveling up, learning to code, running a half marathon, reading Marcus Aurelius every morning. When her hey popped up, he didn't flinch. He waited 2 days, not because he was playing games, but because he was in the middle of a big project, and his time was his own. When he finally replied, "Hey, what's up?" he, poured out a long message about her regrets, her breakup, her wish to reconnect. Ryan didn't jump at the chance. He stayed calm, asked questions, and let her come to him. In the end, he chose not to rekindle things, not out of anger, but because he realized she didn't fit the life he was building. That's the power of restraint. That's the power of a man who knows his value. So when that text comes, don't let it pull you back into old patterns. Don't let it unravel the progress you've made. You're not the same man you were when she left. You've grown, you've built, you've learned. And the biggest mistake you can make is forgetting that. Stay focused, stay grounded, stay stoic. Because the way you handle this moment doesn't just shape this conversation, it shapes who you are. Up next, we're diving into what a high-value man does when that text lands, and how he turns a fleeting moment into a testament to his strength. You're sitting on your couch, maybe scrolling through your phone, when that notification pops up. Her name, after months of silence, hits you like a jolt of electricity. Hey, your first instinct is to dive in, to see this as a sign she's back, that she's realized what she lost. But a high-value man doesn't flinch. He doesn't see a text as a lifeline or a chance to rewrite the past. He sees it for what it is, a moment to test his strength, his clarity, his purpose. Welcome back to ZENLIGHT 8, where we're forging a path to a life of stoic resilience and unshakable self-worth. Today, we're diving into what a high-value man does when that unexpected text lands. How he handles it with the kind of quiet, grounded strength that doesn't just command respect, but builds a life no one can shake. This isn't about winning her back. It's about winning yourself. A high-value man doesn't react with emotion. He responds with intention. He doesn't ask, "What should I say to get her attention?" He asks, "Why is she reaching out now? And does this align with the life I'm building?" That shift in mindset is everything. It's the difference between chasing validation and standing firm in your own worth. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we control: our thoughts, our actions, our time. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." When that text arrives, a high-value man pauses. He breathes. He steps back and observes, not because he's cold, but because he's centered. He knows his time, his energy, and his peace are investments, and he doesn't spend them on someone who hasn't earned it. Let's break this down. Imagine you're a guy named Ethan, 32, living in Austin. You've spent the last 6 months leveling up, running 10 miles a week, landing a new client for your business, reading philosophy to stay sharp. You're not the same man you were when she walked away. Then, one evening, her text lights up your phone. "Hey, how's it going?" You feel that familiar tug in your chest, but instead of diving in, you set the phone down. You go for a walk, maybe a mile through your neighborhood, letting the cool air clear your head. You ask yourself, what's changed in her world? Why now? Maybe she saw your Instagram post from that weekend in the mountains, looking strong and free. Maybe she's feeling the weight of her own choices, wondering if you've moved on. But a high-value man doesn't assume her text means she's ready to rebuild. He knows people often reach out not because they want you, but because they're afraid they're losing access to you. That's a critical distinction. He doesn't rush to reply, because rushing signals neediness, and neediness kills respect. Instead, he evaluates. He considers context. He reflects on the past, not to dwell, but to learn. Did she leave without explanation? Did she disrespect your boundaries? If so, her text doesn't automatically earn her a place in your life. A high-value man doesn't chase closure or beg for answers. He creates his own closure by choosing peace over confusion. Let me share a story. A guy named Chris, 29, from Denver, got a text from an ex after a year of no contact. She'd ghosted him after a heated argument, leaving him to pick up the pieces. Chris didn't sit in that pain. He threw himself into his work, started rock climbing, and built a circle of friends who pushed him to grow. When her hey came through, he didn't see it as a victory. He saw it as a question. Does this fit the life I'm building? He waited 2 days, not to play games, but because he was in the middle of a climbing trip, living his life on his terms. When he replied, it was simple. Hey, what's up? She responded with a long message about her regrets, but Chris didn't jump back in. He asked questions, stayed calm, and realized her return was about her need for validation, not a genuine desire to reconnect. He politely declined to meet up, not out of spite, but because he'd built a life that didn't need her in it. That's what a high-value man does. He doesn't let a text pull him back into old patterns. He doesn't need her to validate his worth, because he's already doing that himself, through his actions, his discipline, his growth. Stoicism teaches us that true power comes from self-mastery, not from being desired by others. A high-value man knows his value isn't tied to who texts him or who doesn't. It's tied to the life he's crafting, the principles he lives by, the purpose he wakes up for every day. So how do you make this real? Start by setting boundaries with your time. If that text comes, don't reply until you've had time to reflect. Maybe 24 hours, maybe more. Use that time to focus on you. Go lift weights, write in a journal, or call a friend who lifts you up. Ask yourself, does this person align with my values? Do they respect my time? If the answer is no, silence is a perfectly valid response. It's not about being cold, it's about being clear. Your energy is finite, and you don't owe it to someone who walked away without explanation. If you do choose to engage, keep it short and grounded. A simple, hey, what's on your mind, shifts the dynamic. It forces her to clarify her intent, to step into your frame, not the other way around. And here's the key. Whatever happens next, you're unshaken. If she steps up with honesty, great. You'll evaluate it with clarity. If she fades away, that's fine too, because your life doesn't hinge on her response. You're building something bigger, a life of purpose, discipline, and peace. That's the Stoic way. That's the high-value way. And that's the man she didn't expect when she sent that text. Up next, we're diving into how to craft a response that doesn't just keep your power, but sets the tone for every interaction moving forward. You're staring at your phone, her name glowing on the screen. That single word, hey, sits there, like a challenge, daring you to make your next move. Your heart's pounding, your mind's racing with possibilities. Does she want you back? Is this a chance to fix things? But a man in control doesn't let a text dictate his emotions. He doesn't react on impulse. He responds with purpose, with clarity, with the kind of strength that sets the tone for everything that follows. Welcome back to ZENLIGHT, where we're cutting through the chaos of modern life with stoic wisdom and relentless self-improvement. Today, we're diving into how to reply to that unexpected text in a way that protects your peace, commands respect, and keeps you in the driver's seat of your own life. This isn't just about what you say, it's about who you are when you say it. Let's get to work. First, let's be clear. You don't owe anyone a response, especially not someone who vanished without explanation, leaving you to navigate the silence. Stoicism teaches us to guard our energy fiercely, to focus on what aligns with our purpose. As Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. If you choose to reply, it's not because you're Obligated, it's because you've decided it serves your path. But whether you respond or stay silent, your choice must come from a place of strength, not emotion. Too many men make the mistake of mirroring her casual tone, pretending the silence never happened, or worse, pouring out their feelings in a desperate bid to reconnect. That's not how a man in control operates. He doesn't chase. He doesn't beg. He doesn't hand over his power on a silver platter. Let's paint a picture. Imagine you're a guy named Lucas, 30, living in Miami. You've spent the last year rebuilding after a tough breakup, hitting the gym, growing your business, reading Seneca to stay grounded. Then, out of nowhere, your ex texts, "Hey, how's it going?" Your first instinct is to match her energy, to say something like, "So good to hear from you," or "I've been thinking about you too." But that's a trap. Those responses scream eagerness, neediness, a willingness to let her back in without earning it. They tell her she can waltz back into your life with a single word, and you'll be there, waiting. Instead, a man in control flips the dynamic. He responds, if he responds at all, with intention. He keeps it short, calm, and direct. Something like, "Hey, what's on your mind?" That's it. 6 words that change everything. Why? Because they don't give anything away. They don't reveal your emotions, your hopes, or your vulnerabilities. They put the pressure back on her to explain why she's here, what she wants, what she's bringing to the table. It's not cold, it's confident. It says, "I'm not chasing you. If you want to be in my world, show me why." Let me share a story to drive this home. A guy named Jake, 34, from New York, got a text from an ex after 8 months of silence. She'd left him hanging after a messy breakup, and Jake had spent those months rebuilding, running 5Ks, diving into Stoic philosophy, even starting a podcast. When her hey popped up, he felt that old pull, but he didn't give in. He waited a day, not to play games, but to focus on his work, his goals, his peace. When he replied, it was simple. "Hey, what's up?" She responded with a long message about her life, her regrets, her desire to meet up. Jake didn't jump at the chance. He asked questions, kept the conversation light, and made it clear he wasn't the same guy she'd left behind. In the end, he chose not to reconnect, because her return didn't align with the life he was building. That's the power of a controlled response. It's not about shutting her out. It's about letting her in only if she meets your standards. So, how do you make this real? Start by setting a rule. No replying for at least 24 hours. Use that time to reflect. Go for a run, maybe 3 miles. Feel the sweat. Let your mind settle. Or sit down with a journal and write, what does this person bring to my life? Do they respect my time, my boundaries? If the answer is no, silence is your response. It's not passive-aggressive, it's powerful. It says, my peace is non-negotiable. If you do reply, keep it short and grounded. Try something like, hey, what's on your mind? Or, long time, what's up? These responses don't close the door, but they don't fling it wide open either. They force her to clarify her intent, to step up or step back. And here's the key. Your response isn't about her. It's about you. It's about showing yourself that you're in control, that you've grown, that you're not the same man who once chased her attention. Stoicism teaches us that true freedom comes from mastering our reactions. When you respond with clarity, you're not just talking to her, you're proving to yourself that you're unshakable. Let's make this practical. Next time that text comes, try this. Put your phone down. Go do something that makes you feel strong. Lift weights, read a chapter of meditations, call a friend who pushes you to be better. Then, if you choose to reply, do it from a place of calm. Your words should carry weight, not desperation. And whatever happens next, you're ready. If she steps up with honesty, you'll meet her with clarity. If she fades away, you'll keep moving forward, because your life doesn't depend on her response. You're building something bigger, a life of purpose, discipline, and peace. That's the man she didn't expect. That's the man who doesn't just respond, but leads. Stay tuned, because next, we're wrapping this up with a final call to action. How to take these lessons and apply them to every corner of your life. Starting today, you're standing at a crossroads. Your phone buzzes, her name lights up the screen, and that single word, "Hey," stares back at you. It's not just a text, it's a test, not of her feelings, but of your strength, your clarity, your commitment to the life you're building. Over the past few minutes, we've walked through the hidden psychology behind that message, the mistakes that trip most men up, and the Stoic, high-value way to respond, or not respond at all. Welcome back to ZENLIGHT, where we're not just talking about texting, but about living a life of purpose, discipline, and unshakable peace. This is your moment to decide who you're going to be, not just in this conversation, but in every challenge life throws your way. Let's bring this home. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." That text, that fleeting moment of connection, only has the power you give it. If you let it pull you back into old patterns, you're not just losing a moment, you're losing the progress you fought for. The late-night gym sessions, the 5-mile runs, the hours spent reading, building, growing, they're all proof of the man you're becoming. Don't trade that for a fleeting hope that someone else will validate your worth. A high-value man doesn't wait for permission to live his best life. He builds it day by day, choice by choice. So, here's how you make this real, starting today. First, set a boundary with your energy. The next time an unexpected text comes, whether it's from an ex, a friend, or anyone who's left you hanging, pause. Don't reply for at least 24 hours. Use that time to focus on you. Go lift 200 pounds at the gym, write a page in your journal, or take a walk through your city, letting the world remind you how big your life is. Second, reflect before you act. Ask yourself, does this person align with my values? Do they respect my time, my peace? If the answer is no, silence is your answer. If the answer is maybe, respond with clarity and control. Something like, "Hey, what's on your mind?" Keep it short, keep it grounded, keep it you. Third, make this a habit. Stoicism isn't just for texting, it's for life. Every time you face a challenge, whether it's a tough day at work, a family conflict, or a moment of self-doubt, pause, reflect, and choose. That's how you build a life that's unshakable, a life that doesn't bend to anyone's whims, not even your own emotions. Let me leave you with a story. A guy named David, 31, from Los Angeles, came to me after watching one of our videos. He'd been stuck in a cycle of chasing an ex who kept popping back into his life with vague texts. He was drained, always hoping for more, always disappointed. After diving into Stoicism and our content, he changed his approach. The next time, she texted, "Hey." He waited 2 days. He spent those days working on his screenplay, running 10Ks, and reading Epictetus. When he replied, it was simple. "Hey, what's up?" She tried to pull him back in, but David stayed firm. He realized her texts were about her ego, not his worth. He walked away, not with anger, but with peace. Today he's thriving. His screenplay's in production, he's running marathons, and he's living a life that's his own. That's what's possible when you choose strength over reaction. So, here's my challenge to you. The next time life tests you, whether it's a text, a setback, or a moment of doubt, apply these principles. Pause, reflect, choose, and then come back here to ZENLIGHT and share your story in the comments. Tell us how you stayed in control, how you protected your peace, how you lived like a Stoic. Your story could inspire another man to do the same. If this video hit home, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join our community. Share this with a brother who needs to hear it, someone who's been through the same cycle and is ready to break free. Drop the word Stoic in the comments if you're committed to living with clarity and strength. And if you want to dive deeper, check out our playlist on Stoic principles for modern life at ZENLIGHTE8.com. Your time is now. Don't just react, lead. Build a life that's yours and let no one shake it. We'll see you in the next video.